Well, we've taken a quick jaunt to the Mull of Kintyre. I'm hoping to go check out some of the climbing crags here, see what they're like, see what the possibilities are. We don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm probably just gonna run to the closest one and back. But it's beautiful up here. Almost sunny, beautiful ocean views. I'm gonna pop up to this viewpoint real quick, show you what I'm talking about. But see all the way to Ireland, which I guess is the point here. What a cool spot. Really awesome trail. Beautiful asphalt. Be an awesome bike path. What a view. Hey, we're getting some sunshine. Lovely. Gonna get a good workout coming back up this hill. Maybe wasted my time on the stair stepper at the gym this morning. And there's the lighthouse. Beautiful building. More switchbacks. Let's go. All right, made it down to the cottage. I think this is where this is where I turn off to get to the closest crag that has a topo. So I'm gonna look at my book real quick and see where I go from here. I think I see a hint of a crag up here. I'm guessing this is the crag, which then I don't know how to pronounce yet. I'm gonna look at the book. Yeah. It's described as having an overhanging prow, and I think that would qualify right there. Oh, and some more deer up here. Lots of deer at the Mull of Kintyre. I made it up to Ballinmoil Crag, and I'm hoping I can find the wee path on the way back, because I just ended up going up steeply through some heather. Not that bad. Not compared to Alaskan bushwhacking, but I'm on a tight time schedule. Let's see, how much time do I have before my self-imposed turnaround time? I only have 4 minutes, so if I'm going to take a look at the top of this thing, I gotta hurry. Well, came around the top, and unfortunately it does look like it might be a little complicated setting up top ropes here. The reason why I'd like to set up a top rope is because I'm mostly going to be climbing with my daughter, and although I do trust her to climb and even to set trad gear on lead, I think it's going to be a while before I'm comfortable with her learning how to build anchors and me feel comfortable with them. So these cliffs being very pure trad cliffs with no bolts or pitons ever placed, and us coming from out of the country, obviously it'd be terrible if we didn't respect that. So there are no bolts up here to set up a top rope, and the top of the crag was just kind of a flat heathery moss. I didn't see very much here. Over on one side here, I think I could do something up there. I can work with that.
You may have noticed that as I'm complaining about the lack of belay anchors at the top of this cliff, I am sitting with my back up against a large boulder. And I will say that I briefly considered that boulder as a belay anchor and then decided it was too small for comfort. But then as I looked at the guidebook later, I noticed that the climbs on the left side of the cliff are described as using a boulder belay. So I presume that that is what you are supposed to do here. Now, back to the video.
But this is just the far left side of the crag, and the rest of it kind of looks like that. But I'll look at the guidebook and see what's over here on this side, and perhaps we can come up with something. But once again, incredible views. Erin just texted me and said she saw dolphins down there, so I missed that. But I got to see a bunch of deer, so that's pretty cool. There we go. There's my gear down at the bottom of the cliff. And I'll pop back around. Well, I lied, or the guidebook lied, or I misread it, There's an old piton. I wouldn't trust that.
At this point, I was several minutes past my turnaround time, so I raced down around to the bottom of the crag through the heather and headed back to the cottage and the paved path. Tried to find the access trail that is described in the guidebook, but there really isn't much of one at this point.
Well, I made it back to the paved road. Let's see, what time is it? It's 1:56, and I want to make it to the top of this thing by 2:15. To make it real comfortable to pick up the girls from school today on their first day of school. Ballinmoil Crag looked great. I wish there had been more opportunities to set up a belay at the top. That looked pretty dicey, to be honest. I think I will try to visit another crag before taking Ailsa here. Campsite crag might be a little more friendly. All right, I better concentrate on hoofing uphill.
Several days later, I returned to the Mull to do some more reconnaissance. I had more time and so was able to hike a little bit further and ended up finding some really cool stuff. Unfortunately, it was a very windy day, which had a big impact on the sound quality.
Back at the Mull of Kintyre, gonna go try to find another one of these crags to take a look at today. It's another beautiful day, but it's very windy and cold. There's a lot of ice on the road getting here, so I don't know if you can see the lighthouse in the background down there, but this is a little spot. All right, I'm walking along this kind of faint track going south, trying to find some more climbing areas. An interesting trail. Places it's been so indistinct I've lost it a couple times. But then the last several hundred meters, there's been this like guardrail, handrail on one side. And boy, it's cool out here. This is a hell of a spot. I'm wondering what crags I'm walking past without knowing it because I was neglected to bring the guidebook. It's cold today. It'd be cold for climbing, that's for sure. There's one of the crags I'm talking about there. I mean, that looks totally climbable. I'm gonna take a GPS pin and see if I can figure out which crag that was. I recognize that from the guidebook. I'm almost positive that's what they call the signal stack. A little C stack. It's supposed to be quite an easy route on this side up to the top. I might go poke around. I don't know how easy it is, but low 5th class, maybe I feel comfortable scrambling up there today. That would be a cool spot. I just took a look at the UKC climbing website, and according to them, I've moved past the campground wall. So I'm gonna head back a little bit. It's pretty much all I got to go on, so take a step back. Well, I'm pretty sure that this is the campsite crag. Pretty funny, when I walked past it the first time, I took a photo of it because I was like, oh, I bet that's a crag in the book. It's pretty sweet. Out of the wind here because the crag is facing the exact right direction, and sunshine came out again. This actually feels totally climbable right now.
All morning it had felt like I had the entire Mull to myself. But then, just as I was about to leave this crag, a group of grammar school students showed up, all in matching jackets. Their teacher was taking them out adventuring for the day, including top roping on Campsite Crag. It was a really cool coincidence to bump into them, and I was able to get some good intel on the Mull from their teacher, Matt Osborne.
Well, that was funny. Just as I was about to leave the campsite wall there, I ran into a group of secondary school students and their teacher, local climber Matt Osborne, and got to help them out a little bit and even got to do a little climb. So that was fun, very fun, unexpected surprise. And now here I am. I've hiked down to the Signal Sea Stack, which looks like this. And wow, what a cool spot. I'm gonna go see if I can get on top of this thing. Supposedly, there's kind of a little, well, Matt just described it to me as a slot canyon that turns into a chimney that takes you to the top. I don't know if this is it or not, but it seems to go. Somewhere. Okay, chimney was a bit more of a squeeze than I had counted on. Came up through here, but look at this view. Incredible. Here we go. Wow. Wow. But I ended up scrambling up to the top of that thing. It was a pretty cool little winding 4th class scramble. Super fun. And then I was gonna take a video from the top, but the wind started gusting and I got a little freaked out. So I just reversed the moves and got out after taking one quick pick. But fucking cool, man. Fucking cool spot. I'm trying to get to a place where I can get a good perspective of the sea stack before I race out of here once more, race up that hill again. Oh yeah, here we go. Check it out. So cool. Yeah, I was right up on top of that thing. So cool. Well, that ended up being a pretty super cool day. Once again, I'm racing to make it back in time for pickup from school, but the opportunity to connect with Matt Osborne and to see how he builds his anchors there above the campsite wall. And then with a little bit of beta from him to go scramble up to the top of that sea stack was icing on the cake. Now it's getting to be a little bit warmer. It's still windy, but the sun's had enough time to warm up. I'm down to my shirt sleeves.